The morning sun was just rising over Ouagadougou when an unmarked Ilyushin IL-76 military cargo plane touched down on a quiet runway at the airport. No one knew who approved its landing. No press, no documentation. Just a coded call from an untraceable North Korean frequency. Within minutes, the cargo bay opened and 6 armored containers were rolled out, accompanied by 12 stern-looking North Korean officers, all wearing identical grey suits, black sunglasses, and expressionless faces. A few military officers from Burkina Faso stood nearby, whispering among themselves. What did we agree to? We needed help. The president said this was the price of survival. President Ibrahim Doumbia, newly elected, stood by his convoy, watching quietly as the crates were loaded into military trucks. His country had been struggling rising extremist attacks in the north, a collapsing currency, and mounting pressure from Western donors to restructure their sovereignty. He turned to his security chief, General Ouedraogo. Whatever's inside those boxes, make sure only we open them, not the Koreans. The general nodded, though unease flickered in his eyes. Meanwhile, in Pyongyang, Kim Jong-un sat in a private chamber below the state palace, surrounded by maps, classified reports, and satellite feeds. He sipped tea as an aide briefed him in Korean. The gifts have arrived. Burkina Faso has accepted our proposal. Good, Kim said. Then it begins quietly. And the Americans? They're distracted. They won't understand what's happening until it's already too late. He tapped a point on the map, a region deep in the Sahel, marked with an ancient symbol, older than colonial borders. Send the engineers, and make sure the serum reaches the right hands. 2 days later, somewhere in the north of Burkina Faso, in a remote village called Djibo, people began to speak of strange sightings. A boy claimed he saw a giant steel creature walking at night. A farmer reported strange green fog hovering near his maize field that made his goats foam at the mouth. And in the sky, villagers began seeing triangular lights moving silently across the stars. Local radio stations laughed it off, but Awa Sanu, a 32-year-old investigative journalist, didn't. She had seen enough in her 10 years of digging into foreign military involvement in West Africa to know this wasn't aid. It was something else. At a secret military compound near Bobo Dioulasso, President Doumbia stood before the first opened crate. Inside lay a device the size of a car engine shaped like an obsidian heart, pulsing softly with violet light. It was warm to the touch, not hot, just alive. The Korean engineer who accompanied it simply said, "This is the future. It will power your country, defend it, control it." How does it work? The president asked. The man smiled faintly. You don't ask how the sun shines. You just learn to stay in its light. Elsewhere, in the forests of Bukal du Mahun, a former rebel commander named Kossi Dare watched the government's movements with increasing concern. First the French, then the Russians, now the Koreans. Why is everyone suddenly interested in this poor land? He gathered his old squad and radioed a warning to the underground network. The support Kim Jong-un brings is not for us. It's for something hidden beneath us, something ancient, something hungry. Night fell over Djibo, but the air felt heavier than usual. A low-frequency hum now echoed every midnight. Crops wilted. Birds flew in erratic patterns. People whispered of Le Mal du Nord, the sickness of the north. Meanwhile, journalist Awa Sanu had traced the Korean convoy using a stolen military radio scanner. It led her to an unmarked construction site in the Sahel, guarded by foreign mercenaries and local troops. She watched from a hilltop with binoculars. They're not building a power station, she muttered. They're digging. And they were digging deep using machines shaped unlike anything in Burkina. President Doumbia stood before a hidden chamber just unearthed. Symbols older than any local dialect were etched across the obsidian wall. One of the Korean engineers, Dr. Pak, approached him nervously. You asked for protection, he said. This is the core of the system. You must let it awaken. What is it really, Dr. Pak? The president asked. A gift from the sky, he whispered. Your ancestors feared it. But it was never meant to be feared, it was meant to be worshipped. Doumbia turned slowly. You're not just giving us technology. You're using us as a test site, aren't you? Dr. Pak didn't answer. He only smiled, then whispered in Korean. Long live Rakwon. At 2:11 a.m., an energy surge burst from the core. Electric grids failed across 5 provinces. Cell towers turned to ash. Crops died instantly within a 2-mile radius. But it wasn't just power. It was transmission. Satellites over West Africa picked up a signal not coded in any known language. Experts from Tokyo to Cape Town watched in horror as it repeated a phrase over and over. The door is open. And suddenly, the sky above Djibo cracked with triangular aircraft, silent and vast. Not drones, not planes, not human. A gateway had opened. Back in Ouagadougou, General Ouedraogo stormed into the war room. You let them bring this here. What did you think they were offering? Light bulbs and tractors. President Doumbia was silent, staring at a blinking red dot on the holographic table. They said they would protect us. They said they would help us fight the rebels. Sir, a young aide interrupted. There are no more rebels in the north. They've all disappeared. On the screen, a drone feed showed twisted figures, humans changed, crawling from the Sahel. Sands with silver eyes and scorched veins. Not dead, not alive. Awo Sanu broadcast live from her underground bunker. Using a hacked Korean device, her voice shook. If you can hear me, this is not about North Korea, not even about Africa. It's a global test. We are the fuse for something buried since the time of the pharaohs. They've just used modern machines to wake it up. This support was never about development. It was about access. And now, it's awake, with global panic rising and international powers still debating action. Doumbia made the hardest choice. He called Kosi Dao, the ex-rebel, now a leader of a rogue militia. I need your help, Doumbia said. Forget politics. This is about the planet. Together, they led a joint assault on the transmitter base. The plan was simple: overload the core and collapse the gateway. But the cost would be catastrophic. 3:33 a.m. The transmitter exploded in a mushroom of violet light. The triangular crafts vanished. The altered humans turned to dust. The sky fell silent, but the ground remained warm alive. President Doumbia survived, barely. General Ouedraogo died, triggering the core manually. Kim Jong-un issued a cryptic message. Burkina Faso was the beginning. You think it's over. It's only resting. Awo Sanu visited an abandoned North Korean base in Mali. There she found a sealed box marked in Korean, Project Rakwon, Phase 2. She opened it slowly, trembling. Inside, a beating heart. Not human. Still pulsing. Her camera blinked red as it recorded. She whispered, "It never ended." If this story made you think, gave you chills, or kept you at the edge of your seat, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Do you think Kim Jong-un was acting alone? Or is there a bigger secret behind Rakwon? Turn on your notifications, because Project Rakwon Phase 2 is coming. And trust me, the world is not ready.